Hello everyone, I'm Raghav and this is my Unity Advanced Self-From-Tree Mat-1 and today I'm going to discuss the following three questions. Question first is explain the MVC design pattern and how a developer should implement that in Unity. And second is explain how should model view controller and service should interact with each other. And question third is why would you use a pattern like MVC in your code and what are its disadvantages? So question first is explain MVC. So MVC is an architectural design pattern that separates the application into three interconnected components, that is model, view and controller. So model is used for handling application data. It is responsible for retrieving and updating the data. So view displays the data to the user and captures their user input. It is responsible for presenting the data and and forwarding the user's input to the controller. And controller handles all of the business logic. It handles the user input, processes it, and updates the model and view accordingly. So it acts as an intermediary between model and view. It ensures that changes in one should not directly affect the changes in other. So second question is second part is how a developer should implement that in Unity. So how should a developer implement it in Unity? We can take an example like we are creating a player. So player's health can be stored inside the model as it handles all of the data part. View should be a mono behavior that will be attached to the game object and will be displayed to the user. View will handle all the trigger logics, collision logics, and handle all the user input. And it will also show all of the users or models data to the user. And view will be responsible for sending all of the users input to the controller, and controller will be like handling all of the business logic like player movement script and also like players death event, or like if players attack event, like how will player attack the enemies and etc. Okay, so second question is how should model, view, controller and service should interact with each other. So model, view, so first would be the model and view interaction. Okay, so model is responsible for managing the application data and view is responsible for presenting that data to the user. Uh, so model and view should be loosely coupled. That means model should not have direct reference to the view and view should not have direct reference to the model, and view should not manipulate the model's data. Okay, so second would be model and controllers interaction. View and controllers interaction. Yeah. So view captures the user input and forwards it to the controller, and uh, controller processes the user input, interacts with the model as needed, and updates the view accordingly. So view and controller should communicate with each other, but they should be loosely coupled. Like controller should not have all the details of how view is implemented. And model and next would be model and controllers implementation. Like controller invokes a method on the model to update the data based on the user input or external events, and model notifies the view when its state changes. So model and controller should have a clear separation, and model should not depend on specific controllers. Next will be the service. So service can be introduced to handle specific implementations such as communicating with external APIs or database access or a complex business logic. So model, view and controller may interact with the services to perform tasks that are beyond their primary responsibilities. Services should be designed to be independent and reusable. they should not have direct dependencies on details of model, view, or controller. So the last question is why we should use a pattern like MVC in our code, and what are its disadvantages. So the main benefit of using MVC is that it offers clear separation of concerns. This means that each component has a specific responsibility, and they do not directly interfere with each other. Uh, it makes our code easier to understand, test, and reusable. And disadvantages of MVC would include like increase in complexity. Like as you have to create and manage 3 different components, and this you may end up with more files, classes, or methods than necessary. And another disadvantages of MVC would be like potential for tight coupling. Like if it is not implemented carefully, the components can become tightly coupled, which reduce the benefits of separation. So that's all. Thank you so much.